Okay? Yeah. Also, the reason I don't speak Chinese is to help you, right? I'm trying to give you guys an immersive English environment so you can use English, right? I'm an English teacher, so I'm trying to help you use a little bit more English. If you use English, you get better. If you don't use English, you don't get better. So that's why I speak English. It's to help you. If you listen for 20 or 30 days, you'll definitely be able to understand almost everything I say. Almost, very close to almost everything I say. So it's just a lot of listening. If you've been to high school, if you've been to university, if you've learned English when you were in school, you'll know a lot of the words I'm using. The words are very easy. They're very easy words, but when you put them together in sentences, it's very difficult to understand. Sometimes. Some people think it might be easier to understand, but for most people, it's very, very difficult to understand everything I'm saying. Right? It's very, very difficult to understand everything I'm saying, and a lot of people need to translate. They need to translate, they need to think about the word in Chinese and the word in English, and then they translate back and forth, and it's very, very difficult. So my personal recommendation is to just practice a lot more. You need to practice way more if you want to get better. Okay? Yeah, so you can translate at the beginning. When you first start learning English, you can translate, but as you get better, there are some things you should stop translating, right? A lot of things you should learn using muscle memory. So for example, I have, you have, he has, she has. If you practice, if you use words in sentences, you won't need to translate. The words do, the words are, is, be. You shouldn't be translating these words after a few days or after a few weeks or after a few months. You should stop translating as many things as you can, right? Stop translating as many things as you can to slowly get better. Look at things when you see them in your room, when you do things in your life. Look at things and try to say their English names. Try to say the English names of things. Try using more English, right? If you use more English every day, you translate less in the future. If you don't use English, you translate every day, and that doesn't help you. It doesn't help you speak. It doesn't help you understand more English. Okay? Yeah, good. Hopefully you guys can understand. 1 second. Let me drink some water. If I don't see your question, I know you guys are asking questions or you guys are saying things in the comments. If I don't see it, if I don't answer your question, ask again. I'm sorry, but there are a lot of people here and it's very, very difficult to see everything, right? Or to read every question out loud. So if I don't read your question out loud, if I don't give you an answer, just ask again. Am I speaking slowly on purpose? Yes and no. It's not necessarily super slow. This is still a normal speed, but it is slower for me. So I'm speaking slower than I would normally speak. If I speak with my friends, I might speak a lot faster. But in my stream, because I'm teaching, I'm trying to speak a lot slower so you guys can listen to the English and stop translating just a little bit, right? That's my goal for you guys. My goal for you guys is for you guys to listen a lot more and for you guys to use a lot more simple English, and then you'll slowly get better. Okay? You like my smile. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Can I understand the Chinese you guys are typing? I can understand most of the Chinese. If the Chinese is really, really difficult, I won't be able to understand. I only understand the common words. So the words you see every day, right? I understand everyday words. I understand the easiest words, but I won't be able to understand the more difficult words or, for example, the rare words that you don't really use every day. So if you use easy words, I'll be able to understand when I see them, like words like 6 or 7, or words like eat or do or like. I know these words, obviously, but the more difficult Chinese ones, I won't know. Okay? Yeah, welcome to the stream. Thank you for subscribing. Yeah. How do you demonstrate? Can I demonstrate how I would speak in a in a normal speech? Sure. So like if I were to speak normally, this is roughly how I'd speak. But then it depends on the situation and it depends on the topic as well. So like for example, if it's a topic I know a lot about, I might speak a little bit faster. Like for example, if I were to talk about English education and I were more excited about it, then this is how fast I'd speak. And then if I were to talk about a topic that I'm not super familiar with or I'm not super knowledgeable about, then I'll speak a lot slower. Right? So it does depend on the situation, but in my stream, in my English stream, if I wanted to, I could probably speak like this the entire time, the entire 60 minutes, right? I can speak a lot faster, I can talk about different topics, and then I can switch the words that I use. I can use words more naturally. It's actually a little bit unnatural for me to speak a lot slower. It's a little bit unnatural, but it's also a little bit easier because I speak less, technically. If I speak slower, I speak less. So I'm using less words. I'll have more topics to talk about, and you'll also find it a little bit easier to understand. But again, there's a balance. I need to balance it. So sometimes if I speak faster, it challenges you. It's a little bit more difficult. And then if I speak slower, it can be easier. And then you can take a break. So I sometimes speed up and I sometimes slow down. I need to find a balance, right? That's the goal. I need to make sure that there's some fast English and then some slow English so you get a little bit of everything, okay? More topics and high frequency. I honestly don't know how to pick topics. I think I might need to ask an AI. I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about using an AI to pick some topics for me to discuss during my streams. So for example, topics that I might be interested in or topics that you guys might be interested in. Because the majority of people just ask me questions about how to speak English, right? They'll ask me questions about how to speak or what to say or the difference between certain things. But it's very, very difficult for me to just find one topic to continue talking about for a long time, right? The only topic I can talk about for a long time is English. It's the one topic I can talk about for an hour. How you should learn, when you should learn, the best ways, the worst ways, how to learn the fastest, what's right, what's wrong, what a good teacher looks like, what a bad teacher looks like. That's what I can talk about for a long time. But if you want me to talk about something else, like food in Canada, or food, or traveling, I might only be able to talk about it for 5 or 6 minutes, right? Yeah. So it's very, very difficult to talk about difficult or different topics all the time. So I might tell you guys stories about what I do in my day-to-day life. So the difference between, like, for example, yesterday's stream and today's stream is I'll talk about what happened in my life, right? That's the only difference. So yesterday, I'll talk about what I did yesterday. And today, I'll talk about what I did today. That's the only difference between all of my streams. But the goal is for you guys to truly understand. The goal is for you guys to listen and understand and be able to think in English. The goal is for me to speak and for you guys to say, oh, I understand, without the Chinese. I want there to be no Chinese in your brains. Like in your brains, I want there to be no Chinese. So if you listen more, all the words I'm using are super easy. All the words are super easy. If you listen more, you'll get better. You were here before, now you have a U of T offer. Congratulations. My brother went to U of T. My brother did psychology and neuroscience at U of T. So you have fun. Bye. Don't know what that says. But the goal is to help you guys with as much English as possible, to help you guys use as much English as I can. That's my goal. How do you prepare topics for the IELTS speaking part 3? You can find all the questions online. You can practice with an AI or with a teacher beforehand. You can definitely practice before, but that's how you would practice. For me, my recommendation is to just get very good at English. If you practice more English, if you use more English, if you're better at English, you will be able to answer any question very, very proficiently, very, very well, right? If you know how to speak, you'll get very good at English very quickly, and you can do very difficult tests with ease. You can get high scores on difficult tests easily if you can speak good English, and you can learn new things in English very quickly. So for example, if I want to learn a word, I can learn it super easily because I speak English. If you want to learn a word, it might be really difficult because you don't speak English. So that's my recommendation, right? My recommendation is to actually just practice more, speak more English, make as many things muscle memory as possible, and just be able to use it. Is it necessary to learn elision or linking? It's not possible to learn by yourself, at least in my opinion, but yes, it is necessary. You do need to learn it. So linking is something that you do when you speak faster. If you speak faster, you can link words together. Two words become one, like that, the, right? This is the boat that the pirates used to kill my family. I don't know. This is the boat that the pirates used to kill my family, right? That's linking. When you speak faster, the words become connected. Two words become connected when you speak faster. But the problem is it's very, very hard to learn it by yourself. You might need a teacher to teach you how to say it. You might need to listen and repeat a lot. A lot of adults aren't able to link words together or use elision perfectly. And that's okay. As long as you're speaking fast enough to be fluent, that's good enough. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be good. You just need to be fluent. So what that means is speaking fast enough like this for people to understand you, right? Speaking fast enough for people to understand you, but you don't need to be super fast. You don't need to speak super natively. All you have to do is speak and allow other people to understand you. Too many people speak extremely slowly. They speak like this, and they pause and they think after every word, and they translate, and they can't keep going with words, and they think and right. So they repeat things. That's not fluency. That's not being fluent. That's the opposite of being fluent, right? So that's stuttering. That's being slow. So the goal is for you to just speak fast enough to have a conversation, for you to talk with other people. As long as you practice more, you'll be able to get better. Someone's asking a question about the TH sound. Again, it's practice. Open your mouth. Stand in front of a mirror. Right? I don't have a mirror to demonstrate for you. Stand in front of a mirror. Pretend this is a mirror. And go like this. And just practice, right? If you practice for 5 or 10 minutes, you'll be able to understand how to make that sound. This, that, those, these, the, thesis, thunder, right? As long as you practice a month, right? As long as you practice, you'll be able to understand how to make the sound. Everybody can do it. If you have a mouth, if you have teeth, if you have a tongue, you'll be able to do it. It's just a lot of practice. Did I grow up in Canada? I did. I was in Canada from 6 until 18. So from 6 until 18, that's where I grew up, and that's how I speak English. But again, it's just a lot of practice. Yeah. I think someone in China can learn English to basically the same level as me if they speak as much as me, especially if you start learning when you're young, right? If you start learning when you're young, you can get very, very good at English, and you can get very, very good very, very quickly, right? That's how kids learn. Kids learn very quickly. So again, a lot of kids in China, especially now, a lot of kids in China will be able to learn really quickly and get really good at English because they spend a lot of time on English and they learn from when they're young. Don't call me dad. Yeah. But they start learning at a young age, and they start learning and they practice a lot. So they can get very, very good at English. How old is young? I would say young is under the age of 10. If you start learning English before the age of 10, you'll probably be able to get very, very good or close to native level. So you'll get very good at English. If you start learning after the age of 18 or after the age of 20, you'll probably never be native, but you'll be very, very good, right? You'll definitely be above average. The main thing is time, right? One is time, one is youth, how old or young you are, right? So if you're super young, then you'll be able to get very, very good. Your ceiling is higher. It's the same if you play the piano. It's the same if you swim. It's the same if you run. If you do something from a young age, you'll get very, very good when you're older. If you start as an adult, it's hard to get to the same level. If you start as a kid, right? If you start as a kid, you can start getting a lot better, and then the adult will never catch you, right? So again, learning from when you're young is very important, and then practicing a lot more. Using a lot more English will also help you, right? So you need to use a lot more English. You need to practice your English. You need to use the language. Yeah, I'm only 6 years old. No, I'm not. I was 6 in 2011. So I was in Canada from 6 until 18. That's how I speak English. I teach English. I was 6 15 years ago. I'm currently 21. So yeah, I teach English in China. If you guys like English, if you want to get better at English, you can subscribe in the top left corner right over there. You guys can come and watch and listen every day. I'm trying to give you guys an immersive English environment. So I'm trying to help you guys out. I'm trying to give you guys more opportunities to use English every day. I stream twice. Once at 12 and once at 9:30. So those are the 2 times I stream. You guys can come and watch and listen and use some English. Okay? Yeah, if you want to support me, you can donate a fan sign and join my fan group. It's 10 cents. It helps me out. It tells Douyin, you're telling Douyin you like me. You can also use your finger and tap on the screen like this. That also helps me. It also tells Douyin that you like me. Everybody can use their finger and tap on the screen 300 or more times. It does help me out a lot. Thank you guys so much. If you guys just keep tapping on the screen. Thank you. What does support mean? Support means help, right? It means give me aid. It means give me your help. It means make me better, right? So for example, a parent supports their kid. So a parent helps their kid. A parent makes their kid better. So I can give you financial support. That's financial help. It helps you in terms of money, right? I can give you, for example, mental support, mental help. I help you from a mental, psychological perspective, right? I make you happier, perhaps. I can give you physical help. I can push something for you, physical support. I can push something for you. I can lift something for you. That's physical support as well. It's just help. So if you need help, that's what help is, or that's what support is. So you can help me or you can support me, right? It just helps me out. Thank you. Yeah. Can I connect with people? Unfortunately, I don't connect with people because what ends up happening is not everybody speaks perfect English, and then not everybody's like, suited for streaming or like showing up on a stream. So it doesn't necessarily make the stream a lot better. What does mental mean? Mental means your mind, your brain, right? So mental health means your brain's health, how you feel, right? What you feel. So whether you're happy, whether you're sad, that's your mind, that's your brain, that's your mental or your mentality, right? Yeah, what's up, Kevin? How are you? I've had pretty good traffic for about 3 days now. Yeah, a couple of days ago, like 3 days ago, I had like 6,000 plus viewers that evening. So it was pretty nice. So I stream every day. Yeah, I stream every day at 12 and 9:30. You guys should be coming back to watch and listen, and of course, ask questions. The goal is to help you guys use as much English as possible. If you want to, and you should use your fingers and type in English. You can type, you can ask me questions in English, you can practice your English, you can type, everything I'm saying if you want to. You can repeat after me. If you're practicing at home, you should definitely be repeating after me, right? You should practice the language. So for example, if you hear me say something, try saying it yourself. Try using the words I'm using, right? What words am I using? Can you use the same words? If I ask you a question, can you ask me the same question? Can you do this, right? Can you help me? Can you raise your hand? Can you say hello? Can you watch me, right? Can you, right? If, right? If, can you make a sentence using the word if? If you have a finger, tap on the screen like this. If you like English, subscribe. If you like English, watch me, right? If you want to learn English, practice, right? So again, if you want to learn English, practice. If you understand, but you can't speak, practice. What does juxtaposition mean? I believe it means replacing one thing with another thing, but I'm not entirely sure. It's like a term that's extraordinarily like literal. I don't know if literal is a word, but it's like it's a word that you use when you're writing. Yeah. It's a literacy device. I'm not too sure which device it is specifically though. I don't know what it does. You're wondering if I can teach you English face to face. I teach English online. So I teach one-on-one online, but I don't teach in real life. I don't go to your house, or I don't go, or you can't come to my house to teach English, but I teach English online. I'm not 50 kilograms. I'm 56 kilograms. I'm gaining weight. I'm 57 now. I'm 57 kilograms. I've been losing weight for the past, 2 months. I've been losing weight for 2 months, but now I'm gaining weight again. So I'm eating a lot more. I'm gaining a little bit more weight. I'm exercising a little bit more, like every day. Not every day, that's an exaggeration, but every other day, every other day, I'm going on a run. So I'm running 5 kilometers every other day. So that means if there are 4 days, I run and then I stop and then I run and then I stop, right? So it's every other day. So I run about 3 or 4 times a week. I go on a 5K run. So it's not that far, but I do run as quickly as I can. I run as fast as I can to try and get as much exercise as I can. I'm basically doing a 5K every day. See, Monday, a Wednesday, Monday, Saturday, literally every day, as much as I can. But the goal is to exercise more and to get better at running. Do I only teach conversational English? I also teach the IELTS. I have a 9 on the IELTS. Yeah. How do you teach old people English? The same way you teach kids English. If you teach English, if you're an English teacher, right, the goal isn't, or the question isn't how old or young your student is. The age of the student doesn't matter. It's the skill level. Are they good at English or are they bad at English? Right? That's what matters. So if a baby is very, very good at English, like I have students who are young, students who are 6 or 7 or 8, okay, not 8, students who are 9 or 10, they're definitely not 6 and 7, students who are 9 or 10, who are very, very good at English. The English they are learning, right, the English they're learning is very, very difficult. I also have students who are adults, students who are 20 or 30. The English they're learning is super easy, right? They're learning things like, I like to do. That's what an adult's learning. And the kids learning things like, yeah, the reason that I believe in anti-disestablishmentarianism is blah, 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 right? So, yeah, not that. But the kids are definitely learning harder English. It's not how old or young you are, it's how good you are at English. Right? It's how good you are at English. If you're good at English, you learn something harder, you watch something harder, you listen to something harder, and you say something harder, right? If you're not good at English, you use something easy. You watch something easy, you listen to something easy. What is it? I don't know. It's anti-disestablishmentarianism. I don't know. It's basically establishmentarianism, but you're against being against it, right? Yeah, and then I would believe that establishmentarianism means like making enterprises or like turning I'm not too sure what it is, but it's basically like one company controlling everything. I'm not too sure, but it is based on skill. It is based on skill. So what that means is, as a teacher, I'm a teacher. I have to see if my student is good or bad at English first, right? I have to go see and determine if my student is good or bad at English first. If they're good at English, I'll teach them something harder. If they're bad at English, I'll teach them something easier, right? It's not your age. Your age doesn't matter. It's how good or bad you are at English, okay? So old people who are bad at English should learn the easy things like A, B, C, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, right? That's what an old person who's bad at English should learn, right? But then if you're really good at English, even if you're a baby, you need to use harder English content, right? So it depends on how good or bad you are at English, okay? Yeah, that's what you guys should be doing. What's up, Brooks Water? 这是放的录播视频吧 ？Hello， 现在是10:26。Brooks Water， 啊，你的评论就在这里。嘿，录播视频，你这主播是这种录播视频的人吗？好，太看不起我了，太看不起我了。Do I seem like the type of person who would be recording all of their streams and re-uploading them? No. It's called a re-upload. That's a re-upload. So what that means, first of all, I upload a video, right? I have a video. So do you know the word download, right? If you take something from the internet and you bring it onto your phone or onto your computer, that's called download. Upload is when I put something on the internet. So if I make a video, it's called upload. And if I make a video and I use it a second time and I use it a third time, that's called re-upload. That's called re-upload. And I'm not re-uploading. This assumes it's me actually talking to you. It's me talking to you in real time. Hello, it's me. Where did I learn Chinese? From my parents. So I learned Chinese from my mom and dad. They're basically the only people I speak Chinese with. So I went to Canada when I was 6, right? I went to Canada when I was 6. And after the age of 6, I didn't use any Chinese. I didn't use any Chinese basically at all. I spoke English at school. When I got home, I didn't really talk to my mom. I didn't really talk to my dad. I basically just spent the whole day on my iPad. So I would be on my iPad or I would watch TV. So I didn't use a lot of Chinese. I only really started to learn Chinese when I was in grade 4, when I was about 10 years old. I started learning Chinese when I was 10, but I went to Canada when I was 6. I still remember, I talk about this all the time. When I was in grade 4, so when I was 10 years old, I was learning pinyin for the first time. I was learning how to say things like bo, pu, mo, fu. I was learning that when I was 10. I was learning that when I was 10. So it took me a long time to learn English. I got really, really, really good at speaking in 2020. So 6 years ago. 6 years ago, during the pandemic, I downloaded Douyin and I started watching Chinese videos. I started watching Chinese videos every day. I started using Chinese every day. I started watching videos. I started talking to my mom because I didn't go to school, right? In 2020, during the pandemic, with the mask situation and COVID, right? Everybody was sick. We didn't go to school. So at home, I would talk to my mom, and I would talk to my dad, and I would talk to my friends, right? Not my friends, but my homestay students, my mom's clients. I would talk to them in Chinese. That's how I got really, really good at Chinese. I practiced every day. I practiced every day for 2 years? From 2020 until 2022. So I practiced for 2 years, basically every day, and I still watch Chinese videos on my phone, And that's how I'm using more Chinese now. Yeah, where am I living? I live in Guangzhou right now. I'm in China. But can I read Chinese articles? No. I can't read Chinese. I can't read really difficult Chinese, but I can read easy Chinese. If there's easy Chinese, if it's daily conversational Chinese, so Chinese that you use when you talk to your friends, Chinese that you use when you talk to people you like, right? When you use Chinese, when you talk with people using Chinese, I can read that Chinese. I can read the easiest Chinese. But I can't read difficult Chinese. If your name's too difficult, if the words are too difficult, I won't be able to understand. So if it's too academic, academic means things that you write, things in school, difficult words, right? Academic versus casual or conversational, right? So if it's academic, it's too hard. If it's casual or conversational, for me, it's very easy. What I teach, the English I teach in this immersive English environment is also easy, conversational English. It's easy English, it's not academic, it's super easy. If you listen more, if you listen for 20 or 30 days, you'll be able to understand. Academic means about school, and conversational means about talking, about conversations. So again, my English is very, very easy English. It's conversational, casual, easy English. You need to use this English first. This is the English you need to speak with first. This is English you need now. You need to use this type of English, the easiest English now. You don't need hard English. You don't need academic English. You don't need big words, long words, right? You need easy words, easy sentences, short sentences. You can repeat after me, you can ask questions, but you need easy sentences to build a strong foundation. You need to know the basics, the easiest things first. So then when you keep learning, you can have a really strong, you can have a very strong, structural understanding of English, if we're using the word foundation, right? The rest of your structure will be really strong. But you need a strong foundation first. You need to understand the basics. You need to have good pronunciation, good grammar. You need to use words correctly. Okay? Yeah. Obviously, if you're doing a test, you'll need harder English. But if you want to be able to speak, if you want to talk to customers, if you want to talk to your friends, if you want to make friends, you don't need hard English. You need easy English. Okay? Yeah. Alrighty, guys, I think it's about time for me to end my stream. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'm coming back tomorrow at 12 and 9:30. So these are the two times I'll be coming back tomorrow. If you need to, if you don't remember when I stream, you can set an alarm right now. Set an alarm on your phone. You can come back at 12 at noon tomorrow and 9:30 in the evening tomorrow as well to listen to more English. Again, I say this all the time. You need to practice. You need to practice by yourself. If you want to get better at English, if you want to understand more, if you want to speak, do you want to speak? Do you want to speak to your clients or customers? Do you want to speak English? If you want to speak, you need to practice now. You need to use English now. So when you're showering tonight, when you take a shower, practice your English. When you're laying down and you're trying to sleep, practice your English. When you're sitting down and watching a video on Douyin, describe what you see. Talk about it in English. That's the only way you'll get a lot better. So start using it now. Okay? Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for coming to the stream. I'll be ending my stream now. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Practice your English. Subscribe or follow me in the top left corner by pressing the big red button. You guys can come back tomorrow at 12 and 9:30. Okay? Those are the two times you guys can come back tomorrow. Thank you for coming to the stream. Thank you for your support. Thank you, thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure to practice and sleep early, okay? Bye, guys. Happy Chinese New Year's, by the way. Happy Chinese New Year's. I don't think it's today, but happy Chinese New Year's. I know you guys are on your vacations. Happy Chinese New Year's. Have a good night. practice your English. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.